Do you need inspiration, motivation, or hope? Do you let fear hold you back? Sometimes you...
Okay, I don't know if my intro is going to play today. I'm having technical difficulties. That's okay. Anyways, I'm so excited to be here today with my friend Maloy Williamson. I got the opportunity to, actually my husband connected me with her, and her and oh my God, her husband and my husband Josh, they sometimes work together. And my husband was telling me about Maloy and what Adam and Maloy's mission is, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I want. And so, Maloy, go ahead and share with us who you are and how are you making a mark in the world?
Well, first off, Rachel, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Maloy. I am the co-owner of Alpha Whiskey Outfitters, and that is mine and my husband's small business that we created. He came to me like early summer and was like, I want to start a business. And I was like, okay, we have about 700 million other things going on, but sure, let's go for it. So while on a family vacation, our family kind of got together and came up with the name, which is partially Adam's initials and then the military, which he was a part of. He was in the Army. So that's kind of how the name came about, was through a family vacation.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So share with us a little bit. Like, I know you guys have a really a powerful backstory of what it is that your mission, your vision, and why you even started this line of Alpha Whiskey Outfitters. So can you share with us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so mental health is a very big thing for both me and my husband. We both have gone through traumas in our lives that have had a very big effect on our mental health. And, you know, we have had some friends pass away from suicide, which obviously is the number one cause of death with mental health. And so we really want to like give back to the community to help anyone dealing with mental health, especially, you know, veterans being overseas, fighting for our freedom. That takes a huge toll on them. And, you know, especially anyone who acts like they're fine, but is dealing with demons, you know, on the inside is a big thing. So a majority of our proceeds go towards helping people with mental health.
Wow. That's amazing. And Maloy, I was just on another podcast. I was doing an interview and she was talking about the same thing. And actually yesterday I was on a Zoom because I'm a part of a book about healthy grief. And that was also talking about mental health and how, you know, like just like we go for a physical checkup, like we like to have a mental checkup is also very much needed. And there's so many people that are starting, like you and Adam, that are starting to like create create a space of, you know, your mental health and to create the awareness of mental health. Because I think that especially right now after, you know, the last 3 years or so that we went through the pandemic, that definitely put a lot of people, you know, even into more of a spiral with their mental health. And so, you know, I love that you and Adam have come together and you are so passionate about helping people, giving back, giving to the veterans. And obviously, you know, Adam was a part of the where was he? Would you say the Army?
Yeah, Army.
Okay, yeah. And so, you know, I'm so grateful that you are like, you guys are sharing your stories, you're sharing your voice, you're really getting out there to make an impact in the world and to also give back to people. And so can you talk to us a little bit about the the last podcast I was just on, her son had a physical problem that they had to deal with, and with mental health, it's visible, it's not visible, it's invisible, right? And
Yeah.
so like people go around with this mask on their face and acts like they're okay, but really they're not okay. And so like she had said, she's like, with her son, she had, there was a physical, so they knew what to do to take care of it. But people that have mental health, things going on, like that's not, you can't see those things. And so that's a little bit harder to identify, or to be able to help somebody, or even if they're transparent enough to ask for help. Because I think, and maybe you can talk about this a little bit, with the society and the world, sometimes that's looked down on, right? And so can you share with us a little bit about like your guys' story of mental health and creating that awareness?
Yeah, so the biggest thing was definitely like during COVID, when we were all on lockdown and we were all stuck in our houses. We were like, well, we need to think of things to do to get us active, or do something, or else we're gonna go stir crazy. And that's not a good thing when it comes to your mental health, because that's your mind playing tricks on you. So we started going kayaking and canoeing. We go hiking. We, once the everything started opening up again, we started going on more trips, getting outdoors, being active, because the mind, being I quote Elle Woods a lot, the movie Legally Blonde. It's I'm gonna butcher it, but it's sex give you endorphins, endorphins make you happy. Happy people don't shoot their husbands. So, a dopamine is getting outdoors, doing something that makes you happy. It's called the happy, emotion for a reason, because it makes your mind become clearer and not as foggy as it is whenever you're, having a hard day, or, nothing's going right. And you're like, well, it can only get, and all the negative thoughts in your head are just, constantly talking to you, trying to bring you down. You just got to do those things to get you happy and get you outdoors. And that's like a big thing for me and Adam is, getting more people outdoors, because you clear your mind, and you don't think when you're outdoors. You just look around at the beautifulness that is, our world.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, and I love that you guys are so proactive with, being, and giving people like the how-tos, the tools of like, okay, like this is, get outside and, be in the nature, be in the beauty. And that gives you those endorphins that make, create those happy, just getting out and like smelling the fresh air and just being in the big world, right? Instead of in our house and being secluded. And so those are such good, tangible tools for people. And it's so easy, right? They're easy, they're free, and you can just go outside and take a stroll. And so, I love your guys' mission and your vision, and, to just get people outdoors, to get them moving, because that's also something that is so good for our mental health, is if we're moving around, moving our body, and, that we're not stagnant and just, sitting around doing nothing. And so, share with us a little bit about like, what is the vision for your guys's Alpha Whiskey Outfitters? What is the vision for that?
Really just to get people outdoors and get them moving and active. And that's what a lot of our clothing and accessories are about, is, it's for, the outdoorsy people, the fishermen, the hikers, the swimmers, people up north. It's getting cold out there, got to get a beanie. So, it's we just words, we just started a group with a fellow friend of ours, Captain Jason, that owns Hookin' It Charters and Tours, and he's a fisherman. And so we just did our first giveaway with him to have a family of 4 go out, or friends or whoever, just 4 people go out with him for half a day, do some fishing, and then they come back and they teach them how to cut the fish and do all of that. So that was a really cool opportunity for us to do with Captain Jason.
That is awesome. So do you guys have other things like in play for like 2024 of like expanding the vision even more of like, I know you have that for one thing, but to get people outside, but is there other things that you guys have in mind, or just kind of as you guys grow and get out there and people start buying your merchandise and your product, and then like expanding on maybe partnerships or sponsorships, or connecting with people? Is there any other things that you would like to do with that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sponsorships, getting the name out there to be, as big as Under Armour or, Black Rifle Coffee, be a big name that's everybody knows in the community. And, eventually we're actually doing another giveaway with the same charter starting on the 16th. We're going to be at a little winery in our town selling raffle tickets, and all of the proceeds go towards mental health and helping out with the charter and all of that. So we're kind of starting small, but slowly going to make our way up, doing a lot of festivals next year. I've got a lot already in my calendar that we're going to do. So mainly right now, just trying to get the name out there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I met Maloy in Chiefland, Florida. Right now we're in cold Ohio. So your sweatshirt and your beanie would be really nice right now, Maloy. We're here for a couple weeks.
Unfortunately, the sweatshirt is my own creation, so it's not on the website currently. But if people like it enough, I'll start making some, and we'll get them on the website, because I know with the cold weather, it's starting to get up there. But the beanies are up there. We've got some regular ball cap hats. We've got some shirts, some neck gaiters, some Morse code bracelets, which are ironically our best seller. A lot of people really like those.
That's awesome. And I love the concept of the Morse code, because that goes with your husband and being in the military, right? So
yeah.
I think that's so cool. I think that's why they're the best sellers. Like, you didn't expect them to be, but like, if you think about that, like the brand, where it came from, where it was birthed from, right? And this code. And so, and I know some of them that are on the website, you guys definitely need to go check them out. But some of those things that, it's nice to, what the meaning is, right? And it's near and dear to you, but other people, might not know exactly what it stands for. So, you have some really good ones on there. As you guys have been going through this process, Maloy, like, can you share with us, like, some of the, because I know with any business or anything that we do in life, right? There's some challenges, learnings, obstacles, right? And so can you share with us some of those learnings, or like maybe somebody else is wanting to create a business like yourself and just really create a brand to get out there and have such a mission and a passion. Can you share with us some of those obstacles, challenges, learnings that you have over the last several months? What have you guys learned through this process?
Oh my gosh. First off, don't expect it to blow up overnight. Set your expectations as low to the ground as you can, because you're going to be lucky if you get maybe 5 sales in a day and 10 sales in a month, but you're just starting out. So we've just got our first sale the other day from someone that neither Adam or I know. And that was like a huge thing, because, we don't know them, but we're getting the name out there. So obviously now, because majority of the sales that have come so far from like family, friends, stuff like that. And then the occasional like word of mouth type of thing. But to get that first sale from an unknown person was just like, this could work. And then you just know it is a big expense. A lot of the money that we put our own money into this to see if this will even work. And it's definitely trial and error when it comes to your products. If you don't like something, say to the manufacturer, hey, I was expecting something different. Can we change this, and this? Or if it's great, stick with that manufacturer because they know you and they know your product. So definitely like play around with the different aspects of it because it's been a challenge for the last several months, but we're getting there and it's slowly, I think 2024 will definitely be a good year for us. I have high hopes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And, going from the process, can you kind of walk us through the process of like, okay, this was birthed, the passion, the mission, the message behind it, and then like all the steps to get you to where you're at right now. Can you kind of walk us through those steps?
First thing first, come up with a name and a product because that's the biggest thing because you don't want to come up with a name that somebody already has. Or, just because, everybody sells outdoor apparel, Patagonia, like you want to be different from the rest of, the world when it comes to that type of stuff because, outdoor fishermen is like a big, prospect. There's so many different people that like so many different things, I myself included. And so the biggest thing is to like, come up with your brand, come up with your name, and then stick with it. And then obviously decide what type of inventory you're going to have, whether it's shirts, hats, beanies, sunglasses, shorts, bathing suits, whatever that may be, like, and then stick with it, but then add on with the different seasons. So obviously we're in winter now. Beanies and long sleeve shirts are a huge thing, especially for us Floridians. Anything under 70 is cold. I know Ohio is different, but I am freezing right now. But really the biggest thing is, just keep going. There's so many people in this world who, tell you like it's not going to work. I'm going to be honest. I was skeptical when Adam came to me with this idea. I was like, I was a non-believer, and I'm the co-founder, and I was a non-believer. And I was like, there's no way this isn't going to work. Like, but he was like, just keep being positive. It's going to work. And then the first sale came in when we opened the website, and then the second sale came in, and the third sale. And then, there will be days where we'll go, a week or so without sales, but then we'll get a really big sale, or we'll get multiple people, visiting the website, ordering stuff. So it's really, it's a roller coaster of a process. You have good days and you have bad days, but we've definitely had more good days than bad, I will say.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And on those days that are the bad days, right? When we have that downhill, like what are some things that you guys do that are like that help you keep your eye on the goal, like keep your eye focused on the mission and what it is that you're wanting to accomplish on those down days? What are some of the things that you do to help you keep pushing forward?
Definitely the biggest thing is like, what our mission, what everything behind this mission is for, which is mental health. Like, it's the same with depression. You've got good days, you've got bad days, but if you're still breathing, it's a good day. It might not go the way you want it to go, but you're still alive. So we just got to keep reminding ourselves like, hey, there's a reason we're doing this. We're trying to get, people to recognize mental health as a big thing because everybody just sweeps it under the rug like it's nothing, which is unfortunate because so many people die because of this horrible disease, and nobody really bats an eye. And then once something does happen and it's someone personal that you know, and everyone's like, well, they never showed signs, they never did this, and it's like, well, yeah, why would they? If you're just going to sweep it under the rug and act like, everything's hunky dory.
Yeah. So what would you say to somebody if somebody's listening today and maybe they are struggling with mental health or feeling like they're alone or feeling like they can't share or have a voice? What is something that you would say to them?
I mean, I'm definitely one of those people, and I always, say reach out. That is the biggest thing is, talk to, you know, your mom, your dad, your best friend, your brother, your sister. There are hotlines for people that you can call, if you want to see a therapist. I always recommend therapy is a big thing. Like, just don't stay silent, because that's when the demons win, and you don't want the demons to win. Like 100%. If you feel like you have no one, please reach out to me. I will gladly talk to you, listen to you, be a voice. Like, I myself have been in the dark, and thankfully I had people in my corner that got me out of it before something bad could have happened.
Hmm. Wow. That's powerful, Maloy. That's really powerful to let people know that there can be some safe places, that there are people out there that are willing to speak to you and to help you. And I know when I got divorced several years ago, and I had gone through a dark patch in my life, and depression. And so when we really start talking and sharing, because do you find that the more you share and you shed light on whatever it is that you're dealing with, like, it's okay, you have feelings, it's okay to feel this way, right? And so,
Oh, yeah.
But you want to speak about that?
I mean, like, the biggest thing behind this brand is to get people talking, like, especially when it comes to veterans. We as civilians, we don't know what they saw over there. They do, and Adam including, saw plenty of his friends die on him, or come home and act like everything's fine, and then 3 days later they're gone. Like, like, that's the biggest thing behind this brand, is that we want to make mental health a huge awareness to everybody, high ups, like the common folk. You know just talk to someone. People will listen. If you need to find the right person that will listen, find them. Don't act like everyone's going to ignore you. I always, Adam included, social media is the worst platform we have nowadays, because everybody's always posting happy things, like nothing ever bad happens in their lives. And myself included, I see so many people going through things that, I want to have. And I'm like, well, they're having it and I'm not. I guess I'm never going to have it. And that's my negativity talking. But I also know that it might not be my time. My time might come, a year or so down the road, when we are ready for those things. So it's really just, don't ever look at people's social media and think that their life is amazing, because there's a lot happening behind closed doors that a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah. I can completely agree with that. And there's two things. One is, you said that maybe it's not the right time. Like, we compare, right? That comparative reality can be the thief of all joy. And so just saying, okay, you know what, like, that's a great opportunity for us as individuals to say, like you said, you're like, oh, well, I see somebody else have this and this, like, oh, well, I guess I'm never gonna have that. But instead, changing the perspective and asking a different question, right? Or not making a statement, but asking yourself a question and saying, okay, what is it that I need to grow in? What part of me, my character, what is it? Because, I was listening to my brother-in-law last night for church and online, and he was talking about, you know, like how people are like pray for big businesses or pray to be millionaires or pray for this, that, and whatever. But if they were to get that, they wouldn't know how to handle it. And so there's steps and there's a process that we have to go through certain things in our life to prepare us to be able to handle. So like if you had a massive business right now, that might be like overwhelming because you haven't gone through the processes, right? And so you haven't gone through all the different things to learn, to grow, to put systems in place, to put things into place for you and Adam. And so it's steady, slow and steady wins the race, right? So like we want to microwaved and like our internet's working on that, right? And so we have to just
right now we're sitting in the crock pot.
Yes, that's what I was just gonna say. You stole words out of my mouth. It's like you're in the crock pot right now.
We want the microwave dinner, but we're currently chilling in the crock pot for 8 to 10 hours.
And does not the crock pot taste much better than the microwave food?
Yes, I use my crock pot all the time. I'd much rather use my crock pot than microwave, honestly.
Right. That is a fantastic analogy. I'm totally gonna write that one down and steal that one for future reference.
Do it.
Yeah, I will. But yeah, and then you also had mentioned about, you know, like people not sharing, you know, everything on social media. And so, you know, I know for myself, like, you know, there's been things behind the scenes that I've been, you know, working through, going on and things like that. And I like to keep I'm a pretty positive person. And so I'm very optimistic, positive. And so, you know, like I don't like to, like when I'm over, like say I'm going through something, when I'm over it, I'll share about it. Like what I went through and what happened, what I went through and how I overcame. And because like I find it for me, and maybe you can share about this, for me, I find if I'm going through something, that is not the time to blast it on social media because I'm not in a good positive space, right? And so again, it doesn't happen often, but we all have junk. Like we all have family, we all have things, we all have junk in our back pocket, right? Or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I just sometimes I find it just not necessary to like put blast right on social media of like, oh, this and that's happening. And, you know, so what are your thoughts about that?
No, I agree 100%. Like, especially when it came to like the business, like no one really knows the amount of time and money and effort that we like put into this in the last, you know, several months. Like everybody just thinks that like one day we woke up and we were like, hey, let's start, you know, like we woke up the day we posted online and was like, well, we now have a business. Like, no, there were steps that we took to get to that place. And we wanted to make sure that we were actually prepared for whenever we did post about, like we did tell like some people just to get like the word in their ear and all of that. But like majority we kept it a secret until we knew we were ready because we didn't want to put it out too soon and then not have either product to sell or, you know, something not work with the website or something goes wrong with the name. Like, you know, there were so many things that we had to go through before pushing this out there because we wanted to make sure like there were no bumps along the road once we got this going. And then, you know, it's hopefully going to be smooth sailing from here. There's a little bit of a storm here and there, but we get through it. Right. But, you know, it's just, it's a process like with everything else in life. Nothing is perfect and no one is perfect. If you think you are, you're living in Delulu land. But, you know, it's a process. So you just kind of got to go with the flow.
Yeah, I love that. And, you know, and the title of this podcast is When the Rest of the World Says Give Up, Keep Going. And you had kind of touched on that earlier. And I wanted to make sure that we touched on that again and made a point to that because like, and that's what I am so passionate about, connecting with people like you and all the people that I have interviewed on this podcast. And the purpose that it's how to make a mark in the world, how to make your mark in the world, finding your signature and using your gifts, your talents, your life experiences, and making your mark, and that passion and desire and that vision that you see. And I always like to say that, when people think you're crazy, like I've been told to go get a real job. I've been told why you can't do that. I've been told so many things, right? That to not pursue my vision, my passion, and what is deep inside of me. And I've done it anyways, right? And so when we find people that support our vision, that support what it is that we're wanting to accomplish, and to really walk into the true potential that we're designed to be. And so I'm so happy for you and Adam that you guys, even though you were still supportive, you were a little skeptical, but you were still supportive. So, and just like saying, you know what, I don't care what anybody else thinks. I don't care what the world thinks. I don't care what my friends think. And, it's funny, our friends, our family are probably our worst critics of our support system sometimes.
Amen.
They eventually they see it. Like since I've been told some of those things, like people, they've kind of shifted and they're like, oh, okay, like now I'm starting to see it. And so I just wanted to touch on that, and I want you to encourage somebody, like if they're thinking about starting a business or thinking about walking, maybe even changing jobs. Like it could even be a job, a career change, whatever it is that they're thinking about. They might want, I know that a lot of people, the parents put onto them, like say their parent wanted to be a nurse or something like that, but the parent was never able to for whatever reason, so they tried to live through their child and say, no, you're going to nursing school, I'm paying for it. But that's not what they wanted to do. Or maybe they wanted to be a teacher, but their parent made them go to nursing school. And so can you speak or give a little bit of encouragement to somebody that is in that position right now of like, you know what, this is not really the career I would choose, or maybe they just don't like that career anymore and they want to do something different, or again, they want to start a business. Can you give them some words of wisdom of, you know what, when the rest of the world says give up, keep going and go do whatever it is that is inside of you, that passion? Can you share a little bit of like some wisdom on that?
Oh gosh, where do I start? My whole life has been, if the world says you can't keep going, since I was born. But there's been so many things in my personal life that I've gone through, whether it's relationship wise, job wise, just life wise in general, like things that I didn't expect to happen but did happen. And I took the time to grieve and took the time to process and do everything else. And then I said, okay, what's next? And honestly, I couldn't imagine my life any differently than I do now. I have 15 amazing animals in my life, and I have a husband who adores me and loves me, and a family who adores and loves me. And you just know that if one door closes, another door opens. You're not going to be left in the dark for very long. Yeah, it's going to look like it is depending on the situation, but just know that everything happens for a reason. And whether you're currently going through, a divorce, a job change, family issues, whatever you're going through, and you just feel like it's never going to end and you're never going to see the light, like it's there. It just might take a little while longer than you thought it would. And for the people that tell you you can't, fuck them, like I'm trying to be polite, there might be kids watching. You never know what people are going through. And every time someone has says I can't do something, I prove them wrong 2 times more, like especially when it comes to my personal life. And so people said, oh, this business will never work. I think we're making it work pretty well. Might not be as big as we would hope, but it's getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it takes anywhere between, they say like 2 to 3 years, whenever you start a business, 2 to 3 years to really start to see the profit of all the hard work that has gone into it. And so, yeah, it's the consistency with anything, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like we stay consistent. If you're passionate about it, then just share with people. And the word of mouth is like the best advertisement in the world. And so you just stay consistent and keep sharing. You're definitely going to explode into what it is that you're hoping for it to explode into. And so and that I'm a firm believer on what we see in our mind and what we speak out loud. If it's a desire, like it will happen. And I find that the more that we talk about what it is that we want, our passions and our desires and our goals, like I've studied the mind, so I love learning about the mind, the conscious, unconscious, subconscious mind, and the unconscious does not know the difference between real and fake, and so that's why it's important for us to watch what we watch, what we hear, and things like that, because our unconscious mind just stores it as reality. It doesn't know real from fake, and that's like even why we visualize things, and like we write things down, we visualize it and we speak it out, because where if we can see it in our mind, we can walk it into our reality. And also with that, if being okay with how, like being open with like how that might come into our life. And so, because sometimes we think it has to be this way, but really it can be a multitude of other ways. And so, if it makes sense in our vision and in our passion and our goals, then, just definitely, that's something I've learned, is because I've had opportunities that have come my way that I'm like, wow, like I didn't even see that coming. And like, how did this happen? Right? Like some amazing opportunities. And so, when we're just open to however, those visions and dreams, come to us, just have the vision and the dream, and how it flows to you is amazing. So, well, Maloy, I am so grateful that you are on here today. Do you have any last closing words that you would like to share with our audience?
Rachel, thank you so much for having me. I had an amazing time. And then when you come back from Ohio, we're definitely going to get some drinks or dinner or something. And then if you would like to purchase anything off our website, it's alphawhiskyoutfitters.com. And we have free shipping. And we usually get your orders out within 1 to 2 business days. So, and we have a Facebook page and Instagram and all of that. So definitely check us out. We would love for you guys to help support us.
So they can just look up Alpha Whiskey on Facebook and you'll have the page there?
Yep.
Oh, you cut out. What'd you say?
Yep, there or Instagram.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. And I will add that link into this also, so that they can go ahead and check it out. That you guys have an awesome website. And so, like I said, I need to go on there and buy the beanie and one of those more bracelets. And they even have socks and shirts, and they have all types of things on there. So definitely go check them out. It's right before Christmas. So if they ordered in the next day or so, would they get it before Christmas?
Oh yeah, depending on where you're at, I think the longest we've had someone is maybe like 5 days.
Okay, so perfect for a Christmas gift. And like, she has that beanie on. It is so cute. I love that beanie. And so go ahead and check.
This is a great stocking stuffer.
I think all of your
stockings.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Your hats, your bracelets, your socks, like all of it would be great stocking stuffers. So definitely,
you don't even have to handle wrapping paper.
You what?
You don't even have to deal with wrapping it. Just stuff it in the stocking.
I love it. Awesome, Maloy. Well, I thank you so much again for taking the time to just share your mission and your vision with the audience to create the awareness that is much, much needed right now. And I look forward to having you on again in the future and just to see how things progress in your business. And I'm excited to be a part of it. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. All right. Well, until next week, we will talk to y'all soon.
This is your host, Rachel Bess, and I hope you loved the show. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel, as well as share with a friend. If you would like, you can follow me on